Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
And so I'm going to go ahead and share a story that I was just sharing right now off mic. And the off mic story was my ex-girlfriend was in an unfortunate accident. She was hit pretty hard, and she's gone through a couple of surgeries. She actually lost her very good job that she had because she went through disability and lots of problems over a couple of years. And although she had her minimum coverage as required by law, and so did the person who hit her, well, that wasn't nearly enough coverage to take care of the problems she had. And, so one of the things is don't assume that someone else is going to have the right insurance. Make sure that you're protected. So I think she got $30,000, and if you think about it, she lost her good-paying job. She's gone through 2 surgeries. By no means was that nearly enough to take care of her.
So let me address that. So she probably only got $15,000, but this is a real important area of insurance coverage and protecting yourself. You just stated that in California, the financial responsibility law is that you carry the basic minimum coverage, $15,000 per person and $30,000 per occurrence, so that if you cause an accident, the most amount of money that your insurance company would pay to protect you would be $15,000 to any one person. But if there's 3 or 4 or 5 people in a car or multiple vehicles and you were at fault, the most it would pay out in the aggregate would be $30,000.
Okay.
So everyone's going to get a little less. And probably more than 50% of all motorists in Southern California carry the basic minimum coverage.
Wow.
That's
50%?
That's all that the insurance company, the insurance industry really wants you to have when you think about it.
It protects them.
It's not that much more the premiums to bump it up to 25 or 50 or 100,000, which everyone should do, really, to protect your own liability. On the flip side, to protect yourself, if you've been hurt and your girlfriend or fiance, and she was hurt fairly significantly and had a big loss, she had uninsured motorist coverage. And what that is, it's not required by law. So insurance companies usually don't want to sell that coverage. But if you do, they have to offer it. So number one, it protects you in the event that the person who caused your accident and the injury, in the event they're uninsured. So now you're covered up to your limit. So if you have $15,000, you're covered. If the other party is insured, but they have less liability coverage, then your limit of uninsured motorists, say your uninsured motorist coverage is $100,000 per person, then your policy will pick up where the other person's insurance leaves off. So theoretically, there's an additional $85,000 for you to claim against or collect or recover, provided the injuries support that. It's not automatic, and it shouldn't be. But in your girlfriend's situation, if she had surgery and loss of earnings, etc., her medical bills alone may have been $100,000. Sure. The insurance companies or brokers or agents usually don't really tell you about that, but that's to protect yourself. Number one, uninsured motorist is very important. Underinsured motorist is a natural. It kicks in from the underinsured motorist. And having a high enough limit of liability is very important, and that should kind of be related in some way to your personal financial status. Or, if you're not doing too well, you don't have much to lose, then someone's not going to go after you. But to protect anything you have, if you own a home even, you should have a higher limit of liability.
All right.
Yeah, so then, that's definitely something that most people really, really need to take a look at. I mean, I would say that that's everybody's homework assignment today, is to take a look at your policy.
Look at your declaration page of your policy, and the front page lists your coverages. And if you're concerned, you're not sure, call up your agent or broker and say, I want to review my coverage. I want to make sure I'm adequately covered and protected.
And see, that's why I like working with Carlos Villalobos at Carlos Villalobos Insurance. He goes over all that stuff. A lot of them are just like, how cheap can I get my insurance? But are you really protected? And I love that Carlos always looks out for our assets. And if you just tuned in, we're here with Gerald L. Marcus. He's our chosen personal injury attorney and so much more. And I want to make sure that our listeners right now have a really good idea of some of the areas that you can assist them with. Because one thing we do learn having our show on a regular basis and 800 interviews is we don't know what we don't know. And then what's nice is we have great professionals such as you. you always educate us on things we should know about or why we need to reach out to a true professional. Because I know when we set up a loan, it's not just a 30-year fix. It could be so much more. And what are you looking at? What's the true cost? What's your options? We break all that out. It's completely different than calling an internet bank that just basically is cookie cutter and gives you an interest rate. There's a lot more with the biggest asset of their lives, and they're purchasing the biggest debt. You better get good advice. It's the same thing when we talk to other professionals such as yourself. Again, Gerald L. Marcus. What areas basically should our listeners know to reach out to you for so they can get true professional help with somebody who knows what they're doing?
Well, I think generally if your listeners, their friends, their family are involved in any type of an accident, even if they think they might be at fault, it really doesn't matter whether it's a pedestrian or a bicycle or a motorcycle or they're on a bus or they have a fall on someone's property or in a public place, they should call to find out all of their rights. They may be completely at fault, but we can analyze that and say, this is what you need to do. You should call your insurance. You shouldn't talk to people on the other side. Protect yourself. It may be something where they're only partially at fault. So in California, we have a law called comparative negligence. Sometimes it takes two to tango. And while you might not be able to recover for your injury 100%, you may be able to recover proportionately based on your or the other party's liability. You may simply want to know, what to do. I had an accident a year and a half ago. This is fairly common, and people don't want to call an attorney. But a year and a half later, they're stuck with medical bills, and the other party's insurance isn't treating them fairly. And then they call, and most attorneys would say, it's just too late. You messed up. You should have called us. But we help those people. So if they call us, a month before the 2-year anniversary, the statute of limitations, we counsel them, we advise them, and if I can represent them and help them just to make sure that they're not taken advantage of and they don't lose their right to recover or whatever the situation is, we have a department within our firm that just helps those people. So it's not just representing people and going after the insurance company and trying to get all the money we can for them. It's really not that. It's trying to help the community, help people, help their families, and be the person or the firm, the professional that they could call for anything they need in kind of the general legal sense. So,
well, it's nice that they can
resource
reach
center.
out.
Yeah,
like I mean, that's something you got to realize. And hopefully you all listen here to Gerald L. Marcus. How can they get a hold of you, by the way?
Well, they could call us at 818-784-8544 or 661-296-2992. Our website is www.geraldmarcuslaw.com.
Great website, by the way.
Thank you.
A lot of great information. You should check it out because you go, okay, this guy knows his stuff. He's involved, and you are a great resource. And they should. A lot of you should reach out. A lot of you feel you're afraid to call an attorney. And what's cool is about these shows, we get to know our professionals. They're good guys. You guys are fun and real guys. You're not like
not scary at all.
They're not the shark that you hear about or anything like that. You're a good dude, and you can call Gerald and say. And his firm, you got a great firm, a great team behind you. We know some of them. And that's a big thing because I know our team rocks. They always support Gino and I and our team members.
I know we're almost out of time, so I don't want Don to get mad at me because I'm always taking the last minute. But I just want to say one last thing is we do know someone who's working with your firm, and I know that someone from your firm took the time to go to their home and listen to what happened. And that I think that's almost a lost art these days. So that's something special.
Thank you. We try and do it the old-fashioned way, and there's a connection. If people can't make it into the office, then we go to them, and one of my investigators, who's my top investigator, has been with me 15 years, and he goes...
Where you came from.
Yeah. Whenever, wherever, to help people. And a lot of times he'll spend a couple hours just talking to them, and it has nothing to do with sign on the dotted line, and then... they take their time, they process it, they talk to other people, and then usually they call us.
A lot of times it's truly about listening. All right, thanks again for joining us.
Appreciate
it.
Gerald
L. Marcus, one more time. And what's your website again?
www.geraldmarcuslaw.com.
All right, thanks again for joining us. Look forward to having you part of America's Professional Resource Group and helping more people with all their needs. That's what our goal is. So thanks again, buddy.
Thank you very much.
All right, don't go away. Second half of the show coming up. We have Miss Lisa Odom, our estate planning extraordinaire, who helps us and so many more. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
All right.